Now the really good news is that the ABC has brought rain to inland Australia, right from central Australia right through here to southwestern Queensland and into northwestern New South Wales. In the past 24 hours, some very useful falls and the promise of a little more rain to come. We're at Widgie, which is predominantly a wool and sheep meat operation just near Cunnamulla on the New South Wales-Queensland border. And I guess my question, Jane Bignell, is why didn't you call us sooner?
Yes, I think we wish we had. I think we had 80 points so far, 60 overnight and another 20 today, so we're really excited. Well, that's 20 mils, so that's a good start and we need plenty more to follow up, so we hope that maybe you'll come again.
Now, what sort of difference, Boyd, does that make, in your season and going forward?
Make a huge impact, Peter. Yeah, particularly when the ewes and the females are not far off. We've got some cows out there who have calved and are struggling because they're lactating, and the ewes are only sort of a matter of weeks off lambing, so they need a big boost in their nutrition. So looking forward, if we can get a bit of follow up on this rain, it'll save a lot of drama. We have to be otherwise supplementary feeding them and sort of keeping their energy levels up.
And aside from a sort of confidence booster, it really does have an impact on the market, doesn't it? It will mean that a lot more sheep and cattle stay on properties over the next few months rather than be sent to market and sent to agistment further away.
Well, we predict so, Pete, so we hope that it might be work in our favour in that respect. So we've got plenty on board still here. We were waiting for this change really to see what to do next. So now that we've got this one, we certainly hope for a follow-up, but the markets should, yes, hopefully they'll pick up and maybe a few will stay at home and we can take advantage of that.
And as we were heading into winter, as things were drying out right through eastern Australia, particularly in Queensland and into New South Wales, big numbers of stock were on the move, weren't they? Trying to find greener pastures or heading off for processing.
Most certainly, Peter. Yeah, big impact on the transport industry. Getting trucks was a big issue, still is, I think. But stock going to feedlots or going to sale or going to the processors, so impacting. So if that supply can dry up a little bit, and we can, that'll help the markets and give another option. I think we've already got some cattle on agistment, and we've transported a fair few of our younger stock west to another property. So, and we'll be selling if that market can kick along. It'll be the way to go.
Now, as you said, you've been moving stock off as the season dried out, trying to do the right thing and protect the property. But in that sense, you've really have been hit with a double whammy with some of the biggest mobs of kangaroos that you've seen here in about 10 years.
Yes, we've got thousands. There's thousands. I don't know how many. I couldn't put a number on it, but there's heaps out there. And I think they have a huge impact, and it makes it very difficult to judge stock numbers, how much we can run, what we can run, because we don't know the impact. I think they bring along a dry time a whole lot sooner. So when we might be planning for like a couple of months ahead, we might find we turn out in a couple of weeks' time, there's nothing left. They come in and they can wipe out massive amounts of feed in a very short time when they're in numbers like this.
Now, in terms of control measures, what can you realistically and cost effectively do to try and bring those numbers back?
Well, it's difficult really. In the short term, a bit of rain will ease the pressure. That will spread them around. But the brew industry, the harvesters are having their difficulties. Being viable. They've got to drive a fair way out of town, and I think it's about 60 cents a kilo, the meat business at the moment. So, I've spoken to a number of them, and they're saying they just can't make their numbers add up. And I think we've got to try and get some research and development in it, and get some demand going, and get some of these markets going a little bit more, and that'll have a flow-on effect with the money going to the local communities and into the local towns. So, it's a difficult one. If we in the winter time there might be a skin market, so that's we're putting a bit of hope on that actually at the minute. So if we can do that.
Thanks very much for talking to us this morning. They could use a break out here. Hopefully some of this rain is the break that they need, and hopefully there'll be a little bit more to come. That's it from here at Widgie near Cunnamulla.